This is the place where good meals begin, right here. It doesn't look like it, but if you ever want to make a great roast, it starts here. If for our natural bodies to grow, we need nutrients and meals and fruits and vegetables, it's the same for our spiritual bodies. And that's why we're hosting something called Groceries. It's pronounced groceries, just like the grocery store, but spelled Grow Series. Groceries is a first Tuesday in September. And guess what? We'll be serving groceries every first Tuesday of the month. There will be a chef there. There will be the Word of God there and Cecil Liminick. I'll see you there. Bon appetit. This is the day that the Lord has made. We have already begun to rejoice and be glad in it. Now, tonight I already told them, bring in your spiritual and divine selves, because I believe God is about to plant a seed into your life that's going to sprout up later. Glory to God. So how he's going to do it is by changing and altering and speaking to your divine self. Welcome to Groceries. Pronounced groceries, but actually spelled Grow Series. Because actually, guys, that's how we're going to grow. We're going to grow in a series of steps. It's not going to happen all of a sudden, but in a series of steps, God is going to do that. So, hold on. I'd like to say hi to some people that are here. So this is grocery. So I'm not going to fix a whole meal. I just want to give you something that you can take and use. Because guess what? The times we're in, ladies and gentlemen, people need as much inspiration as they possibly can have. Now, I got a whole bunch of information. Yeah, but the letter killeth, but the spirit maketh alive. Right now, I just need a get me up. I need something to take my glucose levels up. I'm talking about in the spirit and keep moving. So that's what I'm here for tonight, is to say something or do something that will impact your life, right? And one of the things, first of all, we want to say hello to all of our e-church. Holler at me if you're there. Say hello. The physical church is here. They're holding up the fort. It's strange when on Sundays, we really address the physical audience and we kind of leave the virtual audience, but looks like on Tuesday we're talking to the virtual audience. Do y'all feel left out at all, or you gonna still act like it's, how y'all feel about that? Do you feel like, they said it's all right, today's your day. I see what it's gonna be tonight. Today is your day. And so I believe God is using me as a voice in these last days to find out and get a message to you for your divine self. And that's why I'm here tonight. So now tonight, I'm really kind of excited about the revelation that God has placed in my spirit. One of the things I encounter on a weekly is people having high levels of frustration. High levels of frustration and anxiety, because I say this all the time, life is lifing, right? And so a lot of people are feeling like they're making 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Now, that's very deliberate, not 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I said it differently because in the divine, no matter how far you go back, you always want ahead.
Amen. That's right. Come on.
I feel that in my spirit. Oh, yes. And I don't care what it looks like, God will never be held captive to Satan's moves. And if we get it right, God said, I wouldn't have you ignorant of his. Why I feel this in my spirit. God said, I'll start revealing some things to you so you won't be hit by surprise. Ooh, I want to talk about it tonight. So I want to talk to people who feel like you're achieving a certain level of frustration, overwhelmed, because it looks like you just can't get ahead. And sometimes that's a reality. Sometimes it feels that way. But just because it feels that way doesn't mean it is that way, because you really exist in a world outside of your physical eyes. I know I'm speaking to spiritual folk. Y'all ain't looking for the hype. I know y'all looking at it. You really exist. Your strength and your power is not in anything that is happening in this earth. It's supernatural. Anybody realize that? You know it had to be a God. You couldn't have done that. I'm not even that good. It was nobody but a God. And I know he did it even when I did not want him to do it. So tonight I want to talk to people who have moments of feeling that, and I want to bring some clarity to it. And it started to be entitled 2 Steps Forward, 1 Back. That can be frustrating too, but I changed it to the end game. I want to talk to you about the end game, what God sees for you. What he has planned for you is his end game. The reason I want to talk about that, because if we keep on talking about the movements, the situations, the people, the places, the things, you would think that that's where it needs to change in order for a change to come. But it happens in the spirit, and then all the other pieces move in accordance to what God says. So tonight I want to use this chessboard sort of as a imagery to try to get you to see spiritually tonight. I want to deposit in your spirit to get you to see that these pieces here could somehow be similar to our lives. This is a chessboard, right? And I'll start naming the pieces a little later. But I want you to imagine that these are people, places, and things in your life. These are dark forces or times and things you face, difficult challenge, that look like they're trying to impede. And that's the point of this chess here. And these pieces here move by an invisible power. You know what that is? My thought. God's thought for your end game is moving around and working with all the moving pieces in your life. So look at the board as life and these pieces as things going on, and me as the brain behind the movement. Because I want to talk about that for a second. Let me say something. I play chess. How many chess players are there? Anybody play chess? Anybody online play chess? Checkers. You play chess? Yes. Checkers. Who plays chess? You play poke-pace chess, and if you online play chess, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you how I ended up playing chess. I hung around. Baltimore is a very cultured place, and so you can find people out in the street with all kinds of talents. And so I happened upon an older gentleman in my neighborhood that was playing chess, and I wanted to play. And I said, "Tell me the rules." And he said, "No, I'm not going to tell you the rules. I'm going to tell you I'll tell you what each piece does." And what he did is taught me how to play chess with a checkers mindset. Now, a checkers mindset is you want to get as many pieces that you can away from your opponent and move your piece to the other side to be kinged. With chess, you're already a king. You just got to stand your ground. I wish I had somebody in here say, "I know who I am. I'm just not trying to get anybody to call checkmate on it. I can't let you take that away from me. In the game of chess, it's more about strategies of maintaining. Now, I know that's not just basic. And so that's just basic, but in some degree, that's all I need to really make a point today, and I'll talk about each pieces. And so I was trying to work hard to get his pieces. And sometimes he let me, because he understood that greed will overtake you, and proving a point will overtake you, and your own plans will overtake you, and sometimes you end up losing something important trying to take something from somebody. See, what happened, people who are playing checkers, this is their mentality. They're on the first move. They can only move one at a time. They're trying to take you with one move. And God says, the way I have you set up, it takes a lot to get to you. I was somebody say, I can't be taken down that easy. Not by checker people, right? And so sometimes in life, people, places, and things are making checker moves, which means all of the emphasis is on the move, what is done to you, what is happening to you, what you feel when it's done to you. Is based upon a give and take. This is the way we see life in the natural. Oh, well, I lost my job. I'm divorced. And you think the whole of your life, you got a checker's mind. You think the whole of your life has to do with that last move. I was somebody holler, I'm deeper than that. So I want to talk to you today because I don't want you to get caught up in the one moves. Ooh, I feel God. I just because somebody took one of your pieces, or just because the divorce took a piece of you, or just because you lost your job or an identity, don't let the checkers mentality make you forget this game of life is about strategy. So I want to talk about the end game so that you can put determination on your decisions, that you can still be hopeful, that you can be optimistic and resilient, because sometimes the enemy of your mind will try to create the idea that something that happened to you 3 years ago is going to guide your future. There's something in chess that's called, let me look this up. This was very familiar. It says, let me start off. Let's read the scripture. Let's read the scripture. I'm so excited about this. Let's read the scripture. I don't know why it's so hard to work in 1 hour. I'd be just crunching like, oh God, I gotta do it, trying to get it all out. So Rio, I want you to read Galatians chapter 6, verse 9, out of the Amplified Bible. You think you could do that? Okay. Galatians 6, verse 9, out of the Amplified version. And do you have a microphone? Is there a way? Galatians chapter 6. Turn with that if you're here with us online. Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. That's on the screen, the Amplified version. This is why I come tonight. I come tonight so that you will understand you're in a divine moment right now. Right? And I don't want you to forget that, because although it's crunch time in one area and crunch time here and there, I want you to stay rooted in the fact that you got to walk according to God's plan. I don't want you, this is why I'm coming. No matter what you lose in this season, you better stay grounded. It doesn't matter what you lose or who you lose or where you lose it. I want you to understand, you're not playing checkers. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Here's the end game, but blessed be. the name of the Lord. See, you got to understand the big picture. I don't know why I'm giving this to you like this tonight. Somebody put in the comment section the big picture.
Big picture. The big picture.
Right? You got to get out of the proximity of your home. You got to think bigger than that. You got to think bigger than the proximity of your employment. Please understand God is working wider than that proximity. I'm going further, even larger than the proximity here at this church. I'm going a little bit further. Even this year, God is bigger than a year, a place, a time, a person, or a thing. Tell somebody that's the kind of God I serve.
That's the kind of God I serve.
So listen what Paul says to the church at Galatia.
Let us not grow weary or become discouraged in doing good. For at the proper time, we will reap if we do not give in.
Read it one time. I'm going to just let it, you say it. I'm not even going to put no ad-lib on it because it's powerful. I'm only talking to divine people tonight. If you're looking for a quick pick-me-up, move on past. Because I'm talking to people that understand now is the time that you need to put the focus on the spiritual things because you about to reap. I can't even talk about this. I'm talking about stuff you have forgotten about God is about to pay you back for. That's why people don't understand. You're not getting paid for today. This is back pay. And some of us who went through dark times, this is shift differential. God had to give us something extra just because we had been through so much. See, I'm talking about the end game. God is not in 2024. 2024 is in God. I can't. I knew I was on fire tonight. I knew I was on fire. Read that again. I won't interrupt.
Let us not grow weary or become discouraged in doing good. For at the proper time, we will reap if we do not give in.
On one contingency. It don't matter how much you make. It's not based up. It's what? It don't matter what city you in. It has to do with.
Don't give in.
I want to talk about chess tonight because sometimes you lose all of your pieces and you still win. I'm here to talk to a bunch of people that say I didn't start out with what everybody else started out with. Sometimes it looked like I was pushing against it, but I won with little pieces. Do y'all understand how this works? God never needed your income. He never needed a crowd. He never needed your family support. Thank God for it all. But you can win after losing all your pieces. So let me just read this. The primary object of chess is to checkmate your opponent's king. I don't have time to talk about your royalty is at stake. That's why you got to know who you are, because you are king even though you only see your kingdom. You think your success is based upon how much is in your bank account. When you don't understand, you walking over here with all the authority of God, demons trembling because you came in the room and you're saying, I don't have this and I don't have that, when you have the promise of God to be a king's kid. Come on, scripture. We are royal and a chosen, I wish y'all knew the word like that, a royal priesthood and a chosen generation who God uses to show forth the glory of God. And some of the things you survived, you showing God's glory forth. Yes? So now when you do a checkmate, on an opponent, that is when, I love this, the king is in a position to be captured and cannot escape. I feel like going home. See, because you don't understand, the end game is to tire you out so you feel like that you don't have no more moves left. Make you feel like, oh, I ain't got nothing else I can do now. And that is when the enemy says, when you start feeling frustration, still doing well, he gonna make you miss it. He'll make you miss it. And some of you tonight looking at what you don't have, but you sure miss what you do have. My grandmother used to get up and say, this joy I have, the world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it. This peace I have. She used to sing it till she got happy. She understood that who I am is not predicated on how many pieces I have on the board, but it's predicated on who I am and where I stand. So the primary objection is to cause the opponent to feel stuck. And this is the opponent, the dark side, and I just use this as a light side. Sometimes these pieces keep moving till it makes you feel like you're stuck. And sometimes it could be things too, like disease or challenges or bankruptcy or foreclosure. It also could be a time in your life that makes you feel like you don't have no more moves left. You can say, oh, I'm this now and I'm that now. But it also can, in this, I want to spend a little time on this tonight. People can be pawns to try to make you lose your place. And I like to call sometimes people pawns because they making moves to capture you. Pawns are meant to be captured because they are pretty much like smoke screens to free up space for the real stuff. And sometimes people are being used to bring your divinity out more, but they think they're capturing you. I was saying to Sister Shayla early, it's strange about people. People show their love like this. They come near and dear and close, right? And then they remove themselves intentionally because what they really want is a reaction of love, right? And they want you to love them by falling and having to need them. Oh, have you heard of this or am I by myself? No, really, y'all acting like I'm by myself. Did this never happen to you either? Oh, Pope says she's escaped that. Yeah, but sometimes it's a word for it. It's called withholding of love. And only humans I'll withhold this love because what I really want is for you to come and chase me. Because I love you so much, I'm going to hurt you to get you to love me. It's just, women, am I the only one? That don't they do it? I was saying to Shayla that sometimes people don't understand that in that isolation, they are proving your more divine self, that you were able to do it unassisted. That God brought you through. Anybody besides me, some of the things you deal with, you have to go into your secret closet and and so chess is not just a game, but it's a metaphor for life itself, teaching us invaluable lessons. Let me let you know some statistics. There are 64 squares on this board, and each of them has strategies, foresight, that needs patience and planning. Patience. See, the scripture we read tonight is very easy for you to want to quit when doing well. You never have to talk a person who's doing into bad. You never gonna have to talk them into not quitting. They will do it in 12 to, when you're not doing the divine self and doing whatever you want, you got energy for that. I seen the times in Baltimore, I will go out to a club, didn't even go to sleep or stay out hanging out, and went straight to work. Took a shower, went straight to work. Because it's something about when you're not trying to do right, it's easy to do. You get strength from anywhere. Yes, you get enough. You never have to go to, there's no such thing as a gossiper's anonymous. Like, I really want to stop gossiping. I need you to support me with this, everybody. Like, I'm just so tired of talking about them. I'm so sick of it. I don't want to talk about anything. It's making me sick. You never hear people. Because the difficulty comes when you're trying to do right. And many of you are aligning yourselves with Holy Spirit. You're getting your bodies together. You're centering your minds. There are some people talking about they're establishing new sleep patterns and all. That's where the test comes when you're trying to align your life for your promising future. Right? So you got to be resilient. You got to bounce back from setbacks. Because as in life, in this game here, it don't work. I'm going to say something. It won't work until somebody loses a piece. It ain't life until you've lost something. But it's not the end of the world. It's not fit. We can't even get this game started until we start clearing some of the spaces. Can I drop down somebody and tell somebody real quick, some of the movements that you're experiencing right now is for your good. I know it don't look right and don't feel right, but some of the things, God is moving pieces now to set you up for your tomorrow. Is that good? So this is when we start to embrace the totality of God's plan for us. So let me give you a few statistics. So each of these places, Pope is familiar, each of these pieces operate in a unique way of moving on the board. Mary, if I move this a little closer, can you move that a little closer so that I know I messed up the whole thing. I sort of just sprung this on them, so y'all celebrate them because we did it a little different than I just sprung this on them today. Thank you, celebrate them. Now, I know that some of these concepts may seem strange and odd, but I want you to listen with your spiritual ear because I'm a divine being sent here to give you guidance on how to get through this thing with joy. It ain't no fun if you're bitter the whole ride. Tell somebody, no, whatever state I find myself in, I'm going to be content. I got a text today from a young lady that texted me, and she said, I'll just read some of it. I won't give her name. Someone who hadn't texted me ever. She says, I just saw your Life and Out Loud segment. I just want you to know I love and appreciate your spirit. I have lived with my mother twice, and if it had not been for her, mine would have been lost. I'm in prayer with you, your healing, your recovery, your strength, and your ability to maintain your smile through this. I will be that worrisome person you never had and blow up your phone and text message up. I so wish I had as much power, poise, elegance as you. You make womanhood and ministry look dope as heck. I love when they keep it real. She's referring to the fact that I most recently launched a YouTube-only segment called Lifing Out Loud. Get right over there now to Healthy Talk Heals at YouTube, Healthy Talk Heals. And I'm actually documenting the behind-the-scenes struggles that I deal with being a woman in this type of position, challenging physical ailment on a daily, among other things. And so giving people an outside look, and I come to find out it's really been blessing people. So check that out. Let me say this. There are, wait a minute, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 32 pieces on this board. And you can name and look at all of the moving pieces in your life. You can name it and say, I got this going on. This is the person in my life. And I want to tell you, like this chessboard, these aren't the only moves. There are invisible moves. In fact, it says, listen at this, in chess, the total number of possible moves is vast and varies significantly at different stages of the game. After each player makes their first move, 20 possible moves exist. 20 possible moves. Just their first move, that's each person. After the second move by each player, the board opens up to 400 possible game positions. That's just the second piece. The complexity and the number of possible moves continue to expand as the game progresses, eventually reaching an astronomical number of potential game moves. Here it is. Each possible move on this board, 32 pieces, is reflected by 10 to the 120th power. Let me break down what that means. What that means is every one piece has the ability to be raised 10 to the 100% power, 100 power. In other words, one move has 120 and zeros after that. One move has I feel the power of God. Had one move in their 32 pieces has 120 zeros after that. Can I say something prophetically? Would you look over at your neighbor and say, my God hasn't run out of moves. I don't care if it looks like I'm stuck. I don't care if it looks like it's over. I don't care if it looks like I'm done. It doesn't matter if it looks like I won't bounce back. God, I wish you would look over and tell yourself that. Touch yourself and say, God still got some moves left. I know I may have lost a piece here. Glory to God. You are gauging him based upon your city. I feel like preaching to somebody. You're gauging him based upon the salary of the people you know. And that's exponentially. There's no cap to it. They can't count how many times God has brought you out. All of the secret doors God has for you. All of the foreign sources that he's bringing. All of the inspiration that come from a television show. God will use a movie and tell you, get up. If I did it for them in a lifetime, I feel like preaching. See, you got to embrace the end game or you'll get stuck in a moment. Somebody holler, he's bigger than that. So, let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about the king. Let me tell you about who you are. The king on the board is the one to be protected. He's the one that owns the domain. The king, did you get a look at this? Is she on this one? The king can move in any direction. Let's say any direction, horizontal, vertical, diagonally, any direction. The only thing is he can only do it one step at a time. See, that's why we get frustrated in well-doing is because you see the end game and you're not there close enough because you want it done today. And God say, one day at a time, sweet Jesus. That's all I'm asking of you. How are you going to make it one day at a time? How are you going to be successful on your job? One day at a time. How are you going to open that new business and you tired already leaving work? One step at a time. And because we get frustrated and say, oh, see, the weary and well-doing is, I did something right. I should get a reward now, shouldn't I? Oh, God, see, I held my peace. I know God going to bless me. I wish it worked like that. See, but See, all the while, if you track this move of the king, in order for him to be safe, all of these pieces and parts of him could be places and time move in unpredictable ways. You can't predict that. He has to stay at behind a certain line to be protected. And sometimes, y'all, it's not about winning, it's about staying alive. All the time, it's not about getting. And that's what happened with competitive mentality. They come into church and think it's about acquiring. No, it's about having done all to stand. Sometimes your greatest flex is that you still standing through it all. And so he says, we get weary in doing well. And well does pay off. But if you're not in the right mentality, when it gets paid off, you'll still miss it. Right? So God is after our hearts, right? So everything I'm doing, God is looking at my motives, right? Because can I tell you something? Every piece on here has a pattern. I'll start naming them. I want to tell you, if you open your eyes, I'm dropping this only for a few of you. I know my daughter, if you open your eyes, God will show you patterns. He said it, I said it earlier, I would not have you ignorant of the devil's devices. See, I don't cast out devils or pray against my Judas no more. I just say, God, show me the pattern. Because the things that he sends in your life have a purpose to fulfill. The sooner you recognize it, the sooner you know how to play the game. And I'm not saying it's a game, but y'all understand that? See, you're trying to... See, that's why whenever a Judas shows you them, would you please jump up for joy? Would you please say, God, I thank you, I don't have to figure that one out. I wish I know y'all, this is just me. God, I thank you because I thought they were for real. When God shows you a pattern, you know what piece that is. Is this too deep? I can't believe it. And I gave them something for their birthday, their graduation. And they hurt me so bad. Wipe that tear from your eyes and say, thank God I found out that was a rook. I thought that was a queen. Tell somebody, I'm talking about the end game. Because the race is not given. See, you got to be careful. You got to watch patterns, people's patterns. They're going to be consistent with their pattern. And after you learn the pattern, then you know how to handle it. Because people can't fake for too long these days. The best, I grew up with the best in church. They could do it for like 10 years. But now, I don't know where they get in their school. And now they don't last too long. It will be revealed. Somebody say it's okay. We got pastors, preachers, these haters. I was right there with them. It's okay. God has all of these different moving pieces in your life. Some go forward, some go backwards, some go out. And all of them still don't stop you from being the king. I done went through, and I'm not just talking about people, I'm talking about finances. I have seen people's whole identity change when they lose a certain amount of money. They can't function. And I'm not talking about just, I want food, and we're not talking about the basis. We're talking about the money that gives status. And they don't understand you were who you were. God designed you to be with and without that job, with and without that house. Let's go talking about the end game. I got to move quickly because So the king, which is you, is the one that everybody trying to get. People really don't like winners. We think they do. Y'all noticing that? I'm trying to tell y'all the end game. Everybody not going to be happy for you. It's a life hack, isn't it? So everybody after this poor king, trying to take the king down. So the reason I want you to know about the king, he can move anywhere, but he can only do it one step at a time. I want you to take this down in your spirit. Let all of your decisions be thoughtful. See, because every one move he has depends on his capture. That's why people who making moves secretly about other people, they don't understand they're drinking their own poison. Let each one of your moves, it's your life. This ain't my life. You can't make a move on this board. You can't make a move on this board and hope it reaches me. It doesn't. I told somebody the other day, see, every action you do is coming back to you. Please understand this. This is not scary. This is principle. So say Rio did something to me and, I got to do an and one on you. But see, I ain't going to let you know I'm going to do an and one. Y'all know we got to get your lick, right? So somebody said, I just want to get my lick. I said, baby, that's not her lick. That's going to be yours. She said, how? I said, because you can never be someone else's harvest. You can't ever teach them a lesson for a seed they sown. You can't be their harvest. Every action you did is always a seed. I knew it was going to be deep tonight, but that's why we do Bible study. Ain't no B3 behind me. Ain't none of that. I want you to know, be very careful about every move you make because it is going to come back to you. The secret ones, that's why when people say, I have a pure heart. No, the pure heart is not based upon what actions you're trying to show me. A pure heart is the one God knows really exists. I got to go home. I gotta go home. This is Bible study. See, the pure heart is what God see you were feeling and thinking. I don't have time to be worried about y'all boards. I'm bored with your board. You know why? Because I'm paying attention to every thought I make, every word I make, and every deed I take. Because I only got one. All right, Lord Jesus, this may be too deep. All right, so please remember the importance of making deliberate decisions. And that's with your thoughts, your feelings, your reactions. Okay. The second thing is the queen. I love the queen. Here's the queen. She stands alongside the king. And I know that we think king and queen, it automatically means they're married, but in some sense, in the greater sense, it is almost like a balance, right? Because she represents power, the queen on the board. The queen commands the power of the rook and the bishop and is capable. Here's the rook and here's the bishop, and there are two on each side. She commands power over them. You're going to go home and play chess on your own. I hope so. And she is capable, she has so much power, she is capable of moving any number of spaces along a rank file. She can go as many times as wide, whereas the king can only bump, bump, bump. It really says, I ain't going to say nothing about how strong the women are with the men. Oh, I won't just. You need me. No, okay. So, and it does talk about balance, that you can never be safe by yourself. No, these two, this is a power couple. You can look at it not as even as if you're blessed to have a power couple and you're married to one, that's good. If you got a friend, that's good. If you have a balance within yourself, but it's talking about a balance of knowing protection. And all of us need somebody The king has the queen, and she protects him. Watch this, and she can move any way, but she cannot leap over other pieces. She can't leap over them. She either has to capture them or not go to that space. But a good queen knows sometimes you got to let them slide when you can even capture them. I'm going home. So you got to know everything that's supposed to be said shouldn't be said. When you get that wisdom in the end game, realizing, oh, I see what you're doing, but I ain't going to say nothing. The queen's versatility on the chessboard teaches us about flexibility. Watch this. When faced with frustration, be willing to adapt and approach the situation from different angles. Watch this. Your ability to pivot is crucial. The ability to pivot is crucial. And let me tell you why we don't pivot in decisions and things as much as we do. First of all, ego and pride is a little bit in there. But nobody wants to say, that didn't work, so I'm going to go over in this direction. Very few people can do that. Sometimes we hold tough to a decision, just as wrong, figure it out, it ain't going to work out, but we won't pivot. We got to have the ability, you got to have the ability to be versatile. Sometimes life doesn't work out as you plan. And what I like about the queen is sometimes, oh God, this may be a little bit, sometimes, let me tell y'all something, everybody that leaves your life is an enemy. Some of the people God want to bring back. Oh, I done said a dirty word. Ooh, the queen can go in and out, stand next to him, because they are connected, although they are apart. Oh, I thought, okay, let me move on. Let me move on. Because I'm at the point in my life, I want my body and my spirit to be in the same room. Did I hear something? Because sometimes we have a wish somewhere else, but our body is here. And I'm not just talking about emotional and in relationships. Sometimes your body is in Fayetteville, but you say, you know what, I always wanted to live in Charlotte. You need to bring one of them two people in the same places. See, because you cannot afford to have a divided kingdom. Let's talk about the rooks. Here are the rooks. They look like little horsey. Now, this is an interesting piece. You got that, Tarjane, the rook. The rook moves any number. Did I get the rook or was that? No, that was my knight. Let me go back to, this is the rook. Thank you, I haven't played in a while. The rooks are on both corners, but they have the ability to move any number of spaces at any time. Let me see what revelation I got. So, but they must move in a straight line. I think the revelation I get from that is, y'all, in life, you'll never win playing dirty. You really got to walk on the street. I feel God here. I don't care if you thought you got away with it. See, I need y'all to understand the whole end game. Sometimes you're frustrated because your day has not come, but you got out of line. You tried to go diagonally when you know you can only go straight. Is this too much? So rooks can move any number of squares, but they cannot move diagonally. They cannot. I think sometimes there are some things that will not turn the other way because it wasn't designed to be so. And when you start to realize, let me see, I see that ain't gonna work. Okay, then let me do something a little different. That's why it's so important for you to learn from your mistakes. Okay, so rooks move in a straight line, demonstrating, watch this, the power of staying focused, hear me, on your goals, despite obstacles. So when frustrations arise, remind yourself of your objectives and stay committed to your path. Your path. yours. See, I really don't have time to be worrying about other people's moves. I have some moves on my own. Me and the Lord working out. He's telling me when to move and when to strategize. And I'm so paying attention because every one of my moves have 120 other moves on it. It's critical. So you got to seek God. You can't be so busy in the movement that you don't sit back. There's some, when you really get in the game of chess, you have to go back and leave the board sometime and come back and say, now I know what I'm going to do. Now I got it. When was the last time just taking a toll when you step back from your life? I mean, you ain't had nothing to do. You just took a day to sit and reflect. Yeah, you need one of those. All right, so let's look at the bishop. The bishop is on both sides. The queen is here, the king is here. You ready for me, Tajane? The bishop is here and here. I love that it has a spiritual name piece. A bishop. I know they probably didn't think about it, but it's the only one in here. Although this game harkens back to, you got to look up the history of this. But I love that in our modern day times, they have a spiritual piece on here. Bishops move diagonally along the board for any number of squares. But the thing about the bishop is that see here, she can only, each bishop starts on one color, light or dark, and you must stay with that color. It's something to think about, right? It's something to think about because, remember, let's all go back to cravings. There's some things that you will partake in that will pull you so deep in that world, it's going to take a God to get you to switch sides. That's why every move you make, every step you take, every thought, every decision, every job, every yes, every no, every appointment, every let's go out to eat, every trip, every message, every dream, everything, every moving piece in your life is critical. Yes, it is. So what the bishop teaches us is sometimes what you're doing reveals what's active in your life. Let's go to the knight. They look like a little horse. Are you ready? I used to love the knight. The knight is like a little horse. And the knights have a unique, this is one I always got, they have a unique L-shape move. Can you see? They make, so he's here, one step forward and two over, L-shape. So imagine there are different pieces here. I'm just saying this for instance. Sometimes he can't move, I'll put it here, he can't move because though they're not that close to him, they block his future moves. So sometimes the L shape for special things, he has a special move. Sometimes God corners you in where you can't move because he doesn't want you to move. And so while you're praying, God, get me unstuck, he's like, no, I blocked them because I know I blocked this move. That don't mean people. I blocked this move because I know a couple of L-shaped moves down the road, you're gonna get everything messed up. So sometime I'll keep you stuck and limited for you. I wish you declare right now everything God allows in my life is for my good. Now, my last one, and I didn't even get to. My last ones are the pawns. I may not put those are this whole row And pawns move forward 1 square on the first move, but they had the option of moving forward 2 squares. So pawns move forward 1 square, but on the first move, they can move 2. So they start here, I can go 1, 2, right? I can. But for the rest of the game, they move 1 at a time. So when capturing, they move 1 square diagonally. Pawns cannot move backwards. They cannot capture backwards, right? So those are the times I think where you're moving slow, right? 1 space at a time, but sometimes you start out fast, like they can move 2 times and then 1 for the rest, and seem like they're crawling along. Now, pawns are meant to be captured because somebody got to be sacrificed for the game to win. And don't look at them as people. There are some of your dreams God meant not to work. Because if he let that work, you wouldn't have never been opened up and seasoned enough for what came down the road. That's why many of you right now are moving into some of the blessed times of your life, because you done learned all your pawn lessons. And here's what we have to say about pawns. Pawns might be small and insignificant, but can become any piece. Wait a minute, Popo, what you say? They can become any piece once they move to the other side. Pope knows. So say the pawn has made it all the way down. Don't worry about that. Here, where the bishop was. Now you got to make me the bishop looking like this. I wish you would tell somebody I started from the bottom. Now I'm here. I started from the bottom. Now my whole team is here. See, that's why you cannot underestimate the power of a comeback. I come to prophesy to somebody, you got to get to the other side. I know you were underestimated. I know they couldn't predict it. I know all odds were against you. But get to the other side of your marriage. Get through the rough parts. Don't give up, baby, because even if a pawn in a king is left, you can win the game. And so it's all about focus. It's all about clarity. And I had a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to say it. It's all about adaptivity. It's all about resilience. Watch this. Learning from your mistakes. Because he taught me, and he only told me the power of the move when I learned. And when he got finished whipping me, I whipped him. You know how? I learned strategy. Can't nobody teach you strategy. God has to show you. See, strategies of I won't do that no more, and learning what to do, and all of this along this journey of life. And when you get it right, and not be weary, because this represents good, not be weary in all the movements and all the sways and all of the turns, and to not let it get you sad and get you down and go, you know what, it's too late now. And it says, I want you to be uplifted, because all of the strategy of the end game is to transition pieces that were not thought to be anything. The small strategies, the small steps. Nobody applauds the small steps. You've been kind in a way that people have not even noticed. You've held your tongues in ways, you've commanded your spirit in ways people will never know, because you were silent. They had no idea your ability to think. You were thinking at 1,000, speaking at 0. And you said, I'll be a pawn because I'm going to the other side. I'll be stupid. I'll look dumb, But I'm going to get to the other side. Just count me out. Go after the bigger pieces. Go after some of the rooks and just don't mind me. I'm trying to get to the other side. I want to pray for you as I close out and pray for those that you value every decision, that you learn from your mistakes, that you understand that sometimes you have to sacrifice to the greater good. You got to look at the whole picture. But lastly, don't quit. Don't. Try again. If it's yours, God's got it for you. Put your side of pride. You made some moves and you're going back and hey, it's your strategy, but you got to pay attention to the one who's not on the board. I represented the God behind every piece. And so, God, I pray right now that as this week unfolds, that they begin to enjoy the movement that's happening, because they are aware that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are the called according to his purpose. And I know it gets tough. And I know you feel like giving up. Thank you, Deacon. And I know you don't understand all that's going on, but God has a plan for you, and it's the end game. Let's clap our hands as we give God praise right there. Hold on, Tajane. Yes, let's thank God. Yes, God. God has a strategy for your life. Listen, tonight, if you've been blessed and they are here to give, they put out the basket. That's why I said thank you. And those that are giving online, would you join us? Would you continue to be a blessing to this ministry? That's if we had added value. And here's another thing. Did you cut it off, Tajane? Oh, okay, which camera am I on? I don't know which one. Oh, I didn't see. Oh, I'm sorry, Tajane. I just didn't know which camera to look into. You know, one of the greatest ways you can tell us thank you is sharing this on your timeline. Like, really, if it blessed you, I got a feeling it's going to bless somebody else. Tell them about Ann Taylor. Tell them about Healthy Talk Heal. We're on every platform. Instagram. A.L.I.V is on Instagram. Healthy Talk Heals. Listen, somebody needs to understand, baby, you got this. Don't give up. So if you're giving, thank you so much. And I'll see you next first Tuesday in June with groceries. I love you, everybody. Bye-bye, everybody. Hold on, wait. Don't disconnect just yet. If you enjoyed our time together, I need you to be the evangelist, be the prophet in someone else's life by sharing this message today. I've enjoyed our time together. I hope you have too. And meet me here at 11 a.m. See you then. God bless you.